Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Robot Damashii, or Robot Spirits, Wing Gundam Zero from the Endless Waltz. Pretty cool design. Some people like it, some people hate it. It all depends on how you feel about feathers on a Gundam. It's kind of right in the middle for me. I'm a big fan of the Wing Zero suit. This is basically the same suit, just with a couple of tweaks. So the other Wing Zero suit, by the way, if you're not sure I'm talking about, then just forget what I said. If you're familiar with the series, then you know what I'm talking about. So basically, it's Wing Zero with feathers, and then the other wing doesn't have feathers. Okay, whatever, I'll stop talking about the feathers, that's fine. So this is a reissue, so most of you have probably seen this before. I never got around to getting it before. I have it now. It's the last of the main core suits that are from the Wing series, so I'm pretty happy to have it. Hopefully they'll come out with some more Endless Waltz versions, but we'll see about that. So size-wise, he stands about 5¼ inches tall. Wingspan, if you pose him like this, like almost 11, just about 11 inches from side to side, so that's pretty good. He's got some definite size to him. Pretty cool figure. He doesn't come with the wings on him in the package, but you'll never really want to have him without the wings. I'm going to take them off to show you the articulation in a minute, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like. And stay tuned to the end of the video. I'll put him in some poses and you can see some more options. The wings can fold down and form the cloak around him, kind of like that, and these fold in. But I'll show you that in the photos. It doesn't work as well as I'd like, but it's still pretty cool. So there's that. Let's go ahead and look at what he comes with. You already saw the wings. On the wing arms, if you want to call them that, he does have his little beam saber handles. Kind of hard to get to, but he has one on each side, so that's pretty cool. Unfortunate thing about that is he only has the one ignited beam saber blade, so you can only pose him with one no matter what you do. And then the cool thing to note is that the asymmetrical design of the blade, it's a little bit bumped out here, and then it's got a bigger bump on that side, so that's pretty cool. And it's nice translucent blue plastic. You already saw, but I'll show you again just in case, his two fist hands. He also comes with, of course, his two jazz hands for the style pose. You need those. And then he has the two gripping hands, which are for his guns or his beam saber. And he has two guns, which are really nicely done. They're almost the exact same. They're kind of just mirrors of each other, so I'll just show you the one for now. So they're mostly just this gunmetal color with the green scope thing up there. We have this little painted red wire or something there, and that there. So they're pretty cool looking, and they definitely have some nice size to them. Almost as big as the figure, which is standard for Gundam. The grip can collapse on itself, and that's because you can combine the two, and he can hold them in one hand, just like the regular Wing Zero. And the cool thing about this is you can pop these off. You not only can, but should pop these off, and then they go down here. That doesn't look like much right now, but the reason they do that is because you do it on both sides, and it makes the gun even cooler looking than it was, oops, let's put it on the right way, than it was before. So when you combine the two, they all just snap together, and now you have, that's good, snap together. Okay, so now you have the double gun, that's what I call it. It's not really what it's called, but it's close enough. With a little extra girth down here, dual barrels, and then just the single handle. They didn't give him the double hand where he's got going like this, like they did for the other Wing Zero, but it's okay. You can hold it with just the one hand and put the other hand next to it, or use the jazz hand in conjunction with a gun hand, and it works just fine. So that's really it for the accessories. He does come with the display stage, which is very nice. I think all of the Robot Damashii figures should probably come with one, but then we'd probably have to pay more. So he does come with that, so that's something to note. If you are short on display stages, you won't be with this guy. And I forgot to mention, they also gave us a display stage peg holder thingy for this guy. It doesn't connect to his butt, it connects to the wing backpack. Just peg it in at the bottom of the backpack, and then you peg your display stage into there. Pretty standard, that's why I forgot to mention it, but now you know that it is included in case you were worried about that. Okay, so let's talk about paints and articulation. Paints are all good, nothing really to notice. A little bit of bleeding on the edges of the yellow on the shoulders, but nothing horrible. All of the reds are good, the little green things are good everywhere, so no real problems. The gray is good, the little bit of panel lining that we have looks pretty good. No real complaints on this guy. They did a really clean job on the face. I love the Wing Zero head design, it is my favorite. Looks like mine's got a little bit of a bent chin piece. You see that sticking out right there? I don't think that's supposed to be like that. Or maybe the other one's supposed to be bent out. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. It's a little irritating. Just noticed that. But still a really cool design. Let's talk about articulation. I'm going to pop the wings off to do that because they just are pretty cumbersome when you're not just putting them in a pose. And even then, they're really a pain in the butt to pose because there's just so much going on. If I can get them off, even. At least they connect well, so that's a good thing. There we go. Okay, so just like the other Endless Waltz wing, not the Wing Zero, but the regular Wing Gundam, he's got the shoulder-mounted cannons, or I guess those are those Vulcans? I'm not sure. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong or not. But you can't really open them up due to the sculpt of the face. The cheeks get in the way, so that's a little disappointing. The shoulders are connected on a hinged shoulder socket, so that brings the arms up that way, and then we have the ball peg to move around on there, independently hinged shoulder pad from the shoulder itself, so really no problems moving this arm around. We have the bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, get the arm all the way around. Really no limit other than the plastic itself. For the wrist, we have it's a double ball peg, so that's good. That's no problem at all. I didn't mention the neck, but the necks are always the same, essentially. So double ball peg for the neck to head, and then probably a single ball peg connecting the torso to the neck, it looks like. Pretty good ab crunch on this guy. He looks down pretty far. I do appreciate that. We rock from side to side only at this lower connection, which is just a ball peg. So he can lean a little bit down there, lean a little bit side to side, and then we get the full waist twist. It's only limited by bumping up against the other pieces of armor, so that's okay. Standard skirt armor articulation, so little ball pegs for each piece there. The side armor, ball peg too. Really nothing out of the ordinary, and the butt flap does have a hinge, which isn't always the case on the robot Damashii, so that's pretty good. The hips are just ball pegs in standard sockets, so they get pretty good range of motion. The skirt armor gets in the way a little bit, but not too bad. Really nothing that's going to be noticeable. You can get the legs posed around pretty well. We have the thigh swivel right there. Seems to be a little limited on the back end because of the sculpt. It seems to be bouncing up against the hip socket, but you probably don't need to rotate the leg too much more to the side anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. There we have our double jointed knee, really good range of motion there, and if I'm correct, this is hinged. Yeah, that can hinge right like that, so that's worth noting. As far as the ankles go, I didn't look at this one's ankles up close yet, so we're going to kind of do this together. Double ball peg for that front piece, so that's going to be really well posable. The ankle itself, it looks like swivel. It's a swivel at the top, very top of that joint. You can see the cup kind of. There's a swivel there. Then there's a hinge from side to side. And then there's a ball peg where that connects into the ankle itself down here. So that's a ball peg. And then we're hinged like this. Can this one go down too? Yeah. So there's a hinge for that gray piece and then another hinge for the toe. So we have really good range of motion on this foot. One of the best I've seen. The ankle armor is connected in the middle of that ankle joint. So underneath that swivel and above that ball peg that I mentioned, that's where this is connected. So really well designed ankle. I love that. I'm really happy about that. So that's good to know. So that's the basic articulation for the body. And I'll go through the wing articulation. I'll try to go quickly. I'm just going to do it on one side because it's the same on the other. So let's start with the bottom wing. So there's a swivel where it connects to the blue backpack, then a hinge for the whole piece to move around, then a hinge going this way, and then a hinge for the wing part itself to connect to that. Then there's a hinge down here that snaps shut. Then you can open it up. That's as far as it opens, and then you can push on this and kind of try to pull this out just to fill it out a little bit more. So there's that. And it seems fairly basic, but you can really get a lot of posing done with this. The way they've made it collapsible, you can get the wings just about anywhere you want them. You can fold them up and stick them off the back like that. You can bring them all the way down and around. You can really just pose them any way you can imagine. So the sky's the limit, or I guess your creativity is the limit. For the upper wings, we have this hinge here, and then a swivel where that connects, and then we have a hinge on top of that, and another swivel. It's technically a ball peg, but it's really just a swivel right in there. So that's a swivel ball peg. Okay, and then this piece here is just a ball peg. You don't get a whole lot out of it. Let's zoom out a little bit, but it is there. This set of feathers is on a hinge, and then these are on a three-way ball peg, so they are all hinged together. You can do that, and of course on each end it's a ball peg, so you can move each of these little pieces around, and then same goes for that. So there's lots of posing options for the feathers or for the wings. I'll put them in a couple of poses and take some shots for you, and you guys can see that. So stay tuned for that, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.